number one most requested video from you guys to me is how to get cheap flights / cheap airline tickets / cheap airfare. Well, guess what? This is this video. Now, there is one thing that I want you guys to remember throughout this entire video. The number one tip of getting cheap flights is you have to be flexible. There's no way that you're gonna get cheap flights without being flexible. And I'm talking about flexible on the dates that you're flying, flexible on the times that you're flying, flexible on the destination that you are flying, and flexible on the airports. If you are flexible in all of those and more, if you're even more flexible than that, then I promise you, we can find you some cheap tickets. Know your airline comparison engines. The best ones that I use and that most travel bloggers use are Kayak, Monmodo, Skyscanner, Hipmunk, and Airfare Watchdog. Those are the best ones that I have personally found. So the first thing we're gonna do is obviously check the airline comparison engines. They're gonna compare different airlines and different types of tickets. Then go to those airlines' direct site and see if maybe they offer a better deal or a better route. Another trick is if you find a cheap flight on one of these airline comparison engines, take that flight to your local travel agent and ask them to match that. A lot of times they will match it or even beat the price. So that's another way to get an even cheaper flight from a cheap flight. Check the surrounding airports in that city and in nearby cities, as it tends to be cheaper to fly into larger airports. This is especially true in Europe when there's so many large cities close by. It's really easy to take buses and trains to get to the city that you want to go to. Just remember though, before you start celebrating your great savings by flying into another airport or another city that's close by, check the price of how much it's going to cost for you to get from that airport or city to your hotel or to your intended destination, because that can add up to be quite a bit more. And if you're not careful, then the price kind of negates itself and there's no point in flying to the other city if it's just going to cost you. The same goes for booking red eyes and for booking early morning flights. Make sure you know the cost of getting from the airport to your hotel, because that could add up to quite a bit extra if you are not careful, especially in the morning time when public transportation is not running, or late at night when public transportation is not running, and then you're forced to take taxis, which are always going to be more expensive than public transportation, thus making your total airfare cost more expensive. If you have more time on your hands, you can set up something called a price alert. Kayak does this really well, where you have a saved route and they will alert you to when that route's price goes down, or if it's going to potentially go up higher. So it'll give you advice on when you should buy that ticket to get you like the best price possible. That's a very good tool. Another good tool is using Airfare Watchdog, which you can kind of put your departing airport in, and they will tell you when there's great deals either everywhere or like certain places that you want to go. Another option is signing up for deals. So these are deals from the airlines directly. These are deals from tour companies or things like Flight Center, or they are deals from the airline comparison engines. And basically, if you can put up with newsletters coming into your inbox quite frequently, they usually have like flash 1-day sales, 2-day sales, discounts, and percentages off certain destinations. Keeping on with the flexibility topic, don't pick your destination first. Google.com/flights have an amazing tool that basically lets you put in your departing airport and search everywhere else in the world, and it gives you the cheapest flights in that time period that you are selecting. So if you're flexible on the destination, you can get some really great priced flights. One, it's a great way to get a cheap flight, and two, it opens your mind to destinations you never would have thought of visiting before. Airline credit cards. If you haven't already, sign up for one. You need to get a points card in one of the 3 major airline alliances: SkyTeam, Star Alliance, or One World. And which one of those you choose will be dependent on whatever is your local carrier. So wherever you live, whatever airline serves that destination, that airport more frequently, or your country more frequently, get the corresponding airline card for that. By signing up, you will automatically get bonus sign-up points. Almost all of them offer a signing bonus, which is just for signing up. And normally that's almost a free flight, or is a free flight just by signing up for the credit card. Then put everything that you buy on that credit card. I'm talking about everything. Put your groceries, put anything that you buy. Try to even put like your rent and stuff like that, if you can, on that credit card, because every dollar you spend is a point that gets you free flights just by buying things that you are already going to be buying and already going to be spending money on. Obviously, don't go crazy and start buying things you don't need, and make sure you don't keep a balance, because then you're just going to be paying interest, which is counteracting all of the points that we are accumulating. Book your tickets in parts. This is going to be a whole lot of trial and error that's involved in this. Booking your tickets in parts gives you a lot of flexibility, because you can, one, leave from different airports and different cities and different countries. So that's a lot easier to look into that. And so one airport or one city or one country might be cheaper than the other. So when you add up those two one-ways, it's actually cheaper than the return ticket would be. Say you were traveling from Australia to England and your destination is England. Check out, maybe if you want to do a stopover somewhere in between, you could stop over in Dubai or something. So you can book a one-way to Dubai and then book a separate one-way from Dubai to England. Check the price of that to see if that's even cheaper than flying directly to England. When do we fly? Weekends tend to be more expensive because a lot of people fly because they have the time off during the weekend. This is pretty much standard knowledge, so fly during the weekday. Don't fly during the holidays. Don't do it. You are not going to get a cheap flight. It doesn't happen. Holidays are just ridiculous. Airlines always increase their fares. There's always increase of traffic. It's chaos. If you can avoid flying during the holidays, avoid it. Delete your cookies, aka your browser's saved settings, because if you are looking at a certain flight, by some flight airline comparison engines do this, some airlines do this, but they save your data and they might increase the price because they want you to create that urgency that you should buy right away because now the price is going up. Buy domestic flights domestically and buy international flights wherever. But try not to buy domestic flights in any country that you are going to when you were abroad. Buy those flights when you were in the country because they are cheaper with the local currency, using the local search engines, and when you were there. Trust me. Best day to buy, Tuesdays or Wednesdays, maybe Thursdays. It's basically just when all the airlines, when a lot of the deals come out, so. Best time to buy. For domestic flights, I find between 3 months to about 2 weeks. You can get a pretty decent price in domestic flights after 2 weeks in, then you're kind of going to be paying a bit more because it's so like last minute. For international flights, it's between 5 months to, I would say, 3 weeks. After about 3 weeks, those international flights can go quite up. But anytime in between there, then you're probably going to get an okay deal. Fly standby. If you are super, super flexible, like really flexible, and you're ready for an adventure and risk, you can always fly standby, which is like going to the airport and being like, so what flights do we got here? What can you put me on? What's the best price? Where to? And then you hop on a flight and it can be pretty cheap. I've not personally ever done it because I like to know a little bit more of what my destination is, but I do know friends that do fly standby a lot. So if you are flexible and you're just like ready to go for adventure, that is an option for you. Things to look out for, excess fees. It's nothing worse than buying a cheap ticket that you thought was cheap and then going to the airport and realizing you're going to be paying $50 each way for your bags. That doesn't make it a cheap ticket anymore. So make sure you know that whatever flight and airline that you are flying with, do they charge for baggage fees? Finding cheap flights is a lot of trial and error. It takes a lot of time. There is no perfect formula. There is no magic button. It takes just trying, testing, putting in different locations, putting in different things, waiting, being patient, keeping your eye out for stuff, and being really flexible. Remember, flexible on date, time, location. And you can find them. I promise you can find cheaper flights if you put in that time. And it's worth it. Trust me, that time is worth it when you are saving hundreds of dollars. Alright, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If there is any other things that I did miss, please let me know down below in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel for more travel videos and more travel tips. But yeah. Alright, bye!
Las Vegas is situated in the United States in the western state of Nevada. Rising like an oasis from the Mojave Desert, this city of over 1 million people enjoys 300 days of sunshine a year. Hey buddy, would you pass me the suntan lotion? If ever there was a city that shouldn't be, it's Las Vegas. Starting life as a windswept watering hole on the Pioneer Trail, this is a city that continually beat the odds. Over the decades, Las Vegas grew into a kind of neon Camelot, whose casinos and Rat Pack style has become almost legendary. But if your ideas about Las Vegas look like an old Super 8 movie, prepare to be blown away. And I mean really blown away. This is not just a city. The Las Vegas of the 21st century is like visiting another planet, a pleasure planet. It's a total escapist fantasy. Everyone is here for a good time, from Grandma Joe to movie stars. Hey, isn't that... Whatever you want, you can have it here. Looking for a taste of classic Vegas, Daddy-O? Head downtown to Fremont Street and into a world of old-school cocktail lounges, piano bars, and classic casinos. Okay, now it's time to hit the strip. If everything's big in Vegas, it's 100 times bigger here. We're not talking casinos anymore, we're talking mythical cities, whole worlds geared around you having the time of your life. Whatever mood floats your boat, you'll find it here. Fancy 3 days of unbelievable indulgence? Say buongiorno to the Bellagio and her incredible dancing fountains. Step back in time at the Luxor or Caesar's Palace. This is what ancient Egypt and Rome might have been like if they discovered electricity and cocktails or happy hours a little sooner. Feeling more tropically inclined? Kick off those heels and feel the sand between your toes at the Mirage and Mandalay Bay resorts. The resorts on the Strip are so vast and self-contained, it's possible to land in one and not step outside again for the rest of your stay. But you will step out and explore the unique themes of at least a few others, sampling the incredible shows, dining, and shopping experiences each one has to offer. If this neon paradise still ain't enough for you, Mother Nature has a few surprises of her own. That is, if you can find your way out. The Valley of Fire is just 50 miles out of town, and the Grand Canyon is a half-a-day drive away. But as the nighttime descends, Vegas calls, like an incredible cluster of neon jewels under the desert sky. Las Vegas dazzles like no other city. She's here to remind us that we're here on Earth not for a long time, but for a good time. And Las Vegas will be the best time you ever had.